All right, Sunday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Cowboys favored by 3.5 on Sunday Night Football. I think for me, you get to see Mike McCarthy calling plays here once again for the first time in years. Brian Schottenheimer comes in as the offensive coordinator in name. I think from an X's and O's standpoint, anytime you have a new system, I don't know how new it is exactly, but you still have different ways of handling the blitz perhaps or whatever it might be, and you're going up against Wink Martindale on the blitz. So our analysis every single week, how does this offense handle the Giants' blitz scheme defensively?
I think they're going to handle it by having pretty solid offensive line and playmakers.
Yeah, guys to get open.
Yeah, they're reasonably equipped to do that, I think. So, yeah, look, Dak Prescott's taken a lot of crap this offseason because of leading the league in interceptions last year. Dak Prescott got unlucky last year in terms of, interception luck. Now, he also had more turnover-worthy plays than usual, but not catastrophically so. Like, his turnover-worthy play rate, I think, was 4% last season, which there were like 10, 11 quarterbacks had a worse turnover-worthy play rate than that, including, by the way, Geno Smith, Josh Allen, some good quarterbacks in there. So it wasn't catastrophic. Like, he got very unlucky there. And generally in his career, he's been very lucky with that ratio. So if that swings back to normal, he's fine. He's always been a quarterback that puts the ball in harm's way a little bit more than some other guys. And that's part of why he's in that next tier down, not the true elite, alpha tier of absolute ballers, because he's going to make a few more mistakes than some other quarterbacks. But that we shouldn't be. He's shown that he's capable of literally leading a number one ranked offense in the NFL and doing it at a high level. He's still that guy. And by the way, you just made his environment better because you went and got him Brandon Cooks, and your offensive line should be a little bit better with guys coming back healthy. Terrence Steele, a tackle. So the hysteria around Dak, I think, has gone from like one end of the spectrum of, he's the best quarterback in the world to, man, you can't live with that. Leading the league in interceptions. Time to get rid of him. Time to move on. Time to put Trey Lance out there. Give the young guy a shot.
Don't give the yelling shows any fodder. That's from the yelling shows. That's not here on the PFF NFL podcast.
I feel like we've gone from too far one direction to too far the other direction. Like, Dak's still good.
Yeah. My starting point. It's quarterback and playmakers. And when you see what Dallas did with Cooks and a year removed of Michael Gallup coming off injury, CeeDee Lamb proved that he could be the workhorse last year as a receiver. But a lot of those Dak interceptions came when he was trying to force the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Remember how many miscommunications there were. And you don't have to do that this year. So when Dak plays within his game, I think this Cowboys offense is going to cook. Now, my one question is, Mike McCarthy calling plays, the last time we saw him, I don't want to say he was not, like, let's not overrate the last thing we saw. I think things just got stale with him, Aaron Rodgers, and Green Bay, and they needed a change. So I think McCarthy will be fine as a play caller. I'm interested, though, when you have the head coach calling the plays, do you get too conservative? Sometimes the head coach is like, I care about my defense. I care about field position. I care about those things because I'm the head coach, and the offensive coordinator is like, I just want to put points on the board. Does Mike McCarthy become too conservative as a head coach play caller? Is he trying to lean into the run game more than Kellen Moore did? Because Kellen Moore was, dead smack in the middle on everything.
Right.
There was no real extremes with Kellen Moore. Does Mike McCarthy lean into some of those extremes? Does he pass the ball too much? All of that stuff is in play. That's what I want to see here with the Dallas offense.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat, by the way, is asking me to back up the claim that Dak has always put the ball in harm's way more than other quarterbacks, because he has one of the lowest interception rates in NFL history, which is a product of him getting relatively lucky, as I pointed out, in terms of turnover-worthy play rate resulting in interceptions, resulting in actual turnovers. His turnover-worthy play rate for his NFL career has always been reasonably high. Now, it spiked last season. It went from a baseline of sort of 3%, 3.2 in 2019, 3.6 in 2020, 3% in 2021. It spiked up to 4% last year. So it went from like middle of the pack, which is higher than the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Like that, a 3% turnover-worthy play rate is almost double Justin Herbert's league leading, and the best quarterbacks are at like 2. And then it went from that, which is middle of the pack, to spiking to being lower third, but still, 10 quarterbacks worse, including some good
He was
ones.
better early in his career, though. He was in the 2s.
Yeah.
He's been above 3
each
of the last 4 years.
Right.
And that's like the middle of the pack to lower end.
Yeah, and the twos there's 2.8s in the run of 3 in the 2%. So basically 1 year where he was under 2.5%, and the better quarterbacks in the NFL are at 2% and under.
And don't forget, turnover-worthy plays include fumbles as well, not just interception totals. I agree. Like the interception totals for his career look excellent. Turnover-worthy plays have always been not high. It's not like egregious, but just higher than the interceptions would indicate.
And higher than the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like that's the main point. Patrick Mahomes is regularly low 2s. Justin Herbert has led the league at 1.8. Tom Brady is always at 2%-ish. Joe Burrow is lower than that. Like that's what we're talking about here. If you're going to put Dak, that's the thing that's holding him back from that echelon of quarterbacks. He's shown he can make the big plays. He can do everything. He can execute an offense that's cooking at a number one level, but he will put the ball in harm's way more than those other guys. Always has.
Yeah, I also don't care about that number a ton for him because of what you said, right? They move the
that's
ball.
What I'm saying.
They're effective. It's not a huge deal.
No.
And the interceptions were absolutely overblown, especially when you go and watch some of the interceptions that people were complaining about. So, other side of the ball, Giants offense, Daniel Jones freshly paid this offseason. Saquon Barkley not freshly paid, but he's back playing football. And can the Giants do it?
How dare you? That man got $900,000 extra for showing up to training.
That's true. It's all relative. I would take $900,000.
Right. That's true.
I'll renegotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Are we like the running backs of PFF here, you and I?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Uh-huh.
Just interchangeable parts right here, you and I.
Right.
Just throw anyone else in the seat. They'll crush it here.
Just grab one in the draft
podcast. But maybe I'll take the $900,000 pay bump if needed.
Right.
If needed.
The 1 year guaranteed $900K.
Yeah, I'll do that. Will the Giants offense cook again with Daniel Jones as a runner, Saquon back, some better playmakers, Darren Waller uncoverable in the preseason? We're going to see 15 to 20 targets for him.
That's going to be fascinating. Like that, I'm really interested in that actually. Like Darren Waller, not just preseason, but they basically had to take him out during training camp because like Jones was just going to him every play, like religiously targeting Darren Waller. And they're like, look, come on. Like if you're not going to spread it around, we're going to make you spread it around and take Darren Waller out of the lineup. But I mean, in the regular season, that might play. Like, why not? If he's the guy, if he's your number one receiver, tight end, wide receiver, doesn't matter. If he's your number one receiver, if they're able to turn that into an unstoppable combination, I mean, that's a fascinating thing to watch.
So, yeah, offensively, you want to see that. Want to see how the offensive line comes together last year. So, Evan Neal.
Yeah.
When you have Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence.
Also, by the way, like, if you were Dallas, so Micah Parsons, what was fascinating about him last year is he got sacks. So, Nick Bosa had a pretty reasonably charmed life in terms of tackles that he went up against. Micah Parsons got sacks against all-pro caliber players like Andrew Thomas. He got 2 sacks, I think, out of Christian Darrisaw, which were the first sacks that Darrisaw gave up before leaving the game with concussion. Like, Micah Parsons went up against some dogs at left tackle and got sacks against those guys. On the other hand, if the options are Andrew Thomas on this side and Evan Neal on that side, why would you ever line Micah Parsons up opposite Michael Thomas, or Andrew Thomas, rather?
Quick search shows that Micah Parsons' win percentage against Andrew Thomas was 15% and only 12% against Evan Neal. So
how many snaps?
I mean, it's all small sample sizes. You don't project these forward.
How much was...
It was 33 against Andrew Thomas and 17 against Evan Neal last year.
I just don't understand why that wouldn't be at the very minimum the opposite way around.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't think it's always that clear cut. Parsons had that famous toss of Mike McGlinchey. He beat him 50% of the time, 50%. Which is a massive number, 5 out of 10 last year. Anyway, I don't think it's a huge deal. I would pick my spots, though, certainly. Micah Parsons versus Evan Neal. Now, by all reports, Neal looks a little better this year, but that's what we're watching for here, is to see that kind of improvement, much like Andrew Thomas did have early in his career. Can Evan Neal do that? That'll help quite a bit for this Giants offense. Mm-hmm. Spread's 3.5 here with the Cowboys favored.
I'm going with Dallas. I want to see. I mean, look, we're on record as being low on the Giants relative to certainly Giants fans and to a lot of other people. I'm fine being wrong on that, but I'm going to need to see it before I recognize it.
Same. Yeah, I mean, all my offseason analysis, Dallas good, Giants better, but starting from a lower spot despite their record last year. Give me Dallas to cover the 3.5. On the road, Sunday Night Football.